back to my channel. I'm Sarah with Sarah Plans Life, and today's video is going to be a little different. Today I'm going to be talking about my med clearance appointment for surrogacy that I had this last week. So I thought I'd start and kind of tell you a little bit about what's been going on before my med clearance appointment. I'll talk a little bit about my med clearance, and then I'll talk a little bit about what's going to happen next. And yeah, that's it. Not much has happened so far. So I got my notes right here. So if I keep glancing down, that's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of making sure I'm staying on topic. So I started this journey back at kind of like mid-February or so is when I reached out to my agency to let them know that, I'm thinking about matching again and kind of what paperwork I needed to fill out in order to get that process going. So I talked to them for a few weeks and kind of got all of the paperwork turned in. Mainly the paperwork that they ask for are consent forms to release my medical information. So mainly the information from my last pregnancy, which was my last surrogacy, with the midwife that I saw and with the hospital that I gave birth at. Those are really the only things because they had all my medical records from previous births because of the last surrogacy I did. So they had all of that information, so they just needed me to refill that out. I also needed to fill out my application form again just to kind of put in, any updates on my life. So on my application before, I had only put in that I had had 2 births, and now that I've done a surrogacy, I've officially done 3. So I had to go in there and change that. So basically what I was doing was I was updating all of my information so that any new prospective parents, when they were looking at my profile, everything was up to date. So all of my pictures, all of the information about me, about my pregnancy history. So after I got that application turned in and all my paperwork turned in, that was when they started sending me profiles to match with a couple. So with my agency, how it works is they send the surrogates the profiles first, depending on who you would like to match with. So in that application, they also put in there, would you be comfortable working with a heterosexual couple? Are you comfortable with a gay couple? Are you comfortable with a single man? Are you comfortable with a single woman? So you put that in there. So once they know who you're comfortable matching with, then they will send you a bunch of profiles. And this time I actually got quite a few profiles. There were a lot of parents waiting for surrogates. So I was able to read through a whole bunch of them, and I actually found one couple I really like. It is a gay couple, and they do not live in Texas. They live out of my state. I'm not going to reveal too much information about them because I'd like to keep their privacy, and I, don't want to reveal anything like that. So they are 2 guys, and we will just call them M and J. So M and J. So I read M and J's profile, and they are awesome. They're so sweet, and they've been together for a while now, and this will be their first child, and I am very excited. They were looking for an experienced surrogate, which I know a lot of couples really value an experienced surrogate because, you're not walking through this together for the first time. It's just them walking through it the first time and me just kind of helping and guiding them. Because I've done this before, I kind of know what to expect and know what to expect in terms of like our relationship between the dads and myself. The last time I did it for a single person, so it's very exciting for me to get to do it for a couple this time. So once I told my agency that I really liked their profile and I wanted to get to know them, they set up they call it a match call, where we get on Zoom and we kind of just do a video chat. Their coordinator usually stays on the line as well. They usually don't talk. They just kind of put us on mute so that they can just kind of be there in case our conversation kind of comes to a stumbling point. They'll kind of get back on and guide the conversation back into a direction about surrogacy or back into, different topics that you want to cover. So we had our match call, and after the call, we both emailed our coordinator saying we wanted to match, and that was that. So we matched. So we had to wait for me to wean from pumping because I was still pumping from my last surrogacy. And then once I weaned, COVID-19 hit and everything was quarantined. So I couldn't go for med clearance. So once everything started opening back up and I got my second period, they scheduled my med clearance appointment. So for medical clearance, they like to schedule that appointment between 7-ish and 14-ish days from the start of your period, because they would like your lining to be completely shed and right before you ovulate, so that they can get a really good look at your uterus when they do the ultrasounds and a saline ultrasound. So I'll get to that in a minute. We get to San Diego and I go to my appointment. My last med clearance appointment was 3 hours long. I was there forever. I maybe only saw the doctor for like 15 minutes of the time that I was there for that appointment. For this medical clearance, for this surrogacy, the clinic was very different. I was with the doctor the entire time I was there, but I was only there for about an hour. I really liked my doctor. She was so great and so nice, and she answered any questions I had, even though I really didn't have many. So when you go for your med clearance appointment, the first thing they did for me was they took me back to draw my blood. So they will do this with James as well. They will do this with my husband as well. They will send us a kit, and then they will have a mobile lab come and draw his blood. And I have on my phone here what they test for. So what this clinic tested me for was they're testing my blood type, my TSH, varicella, rubella, prolactin levels. They're doing a complete blood count, vitamin D, hemoglobin, drug screen, tobacco screen, and infectious disease screening. So like HIV, hepatitis B and C, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia. They're testing my blood for all of that stuff. Just seeing the amount of vials of blood they took out of me, it was crazy. So they drew my blood, and then they took my weight and kind of asked me just a couple background questions. I had filled out a whole bunch of forms before I went, so they really didn't have too many questions, mainly just, okay, this would be your 4th pregnancy, no complications with the other ones, I had them all vaginally, just kind of different questions like that. Then after they finished drawing my blood, they had me go to a room and get undressed completely and put on a gown. And then the doctor came in and she talked to me and she did a physical exam. So she checked my breathing and my heart. And then we did the ultrasound. So they did an internal ultrasound just to kind of look at my uterus. And it was really funny. Like, she's looking and she's like, wow, that's the most beautiful uterus. And my gosh, everything just looks so great. And what wonderful lining and stuff. And I'm laying there like, this is really nice, but weird. Like, odd compliments to get, like compliments about my uterus. Like, it's nothing I'm doing that's making my uterus nice, but I don't know. It was just interesting. And she's like, oh, look at that perfect little ovary. And oh, Bill, you've got an egg ready to go. And I'm like, okay. So after the regular ultrasound, the doctor brought in an assistant, and then they performed what's called a saline sonohystogram, pretty much, but it's pretty much a saline ultrasound. So what they do is they stick a catheter in my cervix and attach it to like a syringe pretty much that's got saline in it. And then they use the ultrasound, vaginal ultrasound, and they push saline into my uterus to kind of get a clear picture of what my uterus looks like. And what it does is it shows if there's any imperfections, any polyps, just making sure that everything looks nice and clear for her. It's a very weird feeling, but it's very cool to see on the screen. Like, you just kind of see the uterus just kind of like expands pretty much, and it like slowly just gets a little bit bigger. Not a lot. But then you can just kind of see all the saline in there, and I don't know, it's really cool. It was really cool to see. So I meet up with the doctor in the consultation room, and she pretty much gives me this big folder that is full of papers that kind of give me all of the information about IVF at their clinic. Because each clinic is different. It has different protocols, different medications they have you on. It also contained a prescription for birth control, because they want me to go on birth control starting at the start of my next period. And what that does is that kind of regulates my cycle. I will be on constant active pills so that once we finish the next steps, we'll be able to go right into IVF and get right into stuff. We won't have to really wait around for my period to start or wait until a specific day. We can just get going. Trying not to reveal too much. So one of the papers in there was like a checklist to show me exactly what we did at the appointment and what we have left to do. There was also this big packet of paper about IVF in general. It's got this really cool picture on it that kind of gives a little bit of an overview of what exactly an embryo transfer looks like. It also has all different kinds of medications. It has their restrictions for after IVF. So my last clinic wanted me, they called it, what did they call it? They called it like couch potato time after the transfer. So pretty much they just wanted me to just get home and relax, don't do anything crazy. Whereas this clinic, they actually want me to be on bed rest for 24 hours after the transfer. Then I can only get up to go to the bathroom and to eat. So that'll be different. I'll be a lot more lazy this time. And yeah, I mean, there's just this huge section here that's pretty much all of the drugs that they prescribe during IVF. So what else we talked about in my appointment was my weight. That part was a little hard to hear, but it was, they want you to be in good shape. And she didn't tell me I needed to lose weight, but she said that she did not want me to gain any weight between now and my transfer, which I think will be okay because I'm kind of been losing just a little bit of weight, as I've been, making better choices and eating better. It's been a little difficult during quarantine because, I'm at home. All I want to do is sit on the couch and eat. So that's a little difficult, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying to make sure I'm not gaining any weight. So that was essentially my entire med clearance appointment. I was only in there for an hour. And because of kind of how the flights are right now, because of coronavirus, I could not fly home the same day. So my friend and I flew in that morning, went to the appointment, and then we kind of spent the rest of the day. We went to the beach, we went and got dinner, and then we stayed at a hotel. And the next morning we got up and walked to the beach again. And then we went to the airport, and it was really nice. It was, kind of a nice little baby vacation. So now that my med clearance appointment is done, we need to wait until they can get James's blood drawn and for both of our blood test results to come back. Once those come back, the clinic will medically clear me. They will say, okay, she's good to be a surrogate. Everything's good to go. The doctor has already told everyone that she clears me to be a surrogate from the stuff that she did at the appointment. But, that we just have to wait for the blood results. So once those come in, we'll be able to enter the contract phase. And that varies on how long that will take. It could take, 2 to 3 weeks, or it could take, over a month, depending on how quickly the lawyers get back to each other with our changes to the contract. So it really varies. But once those contracts are signed, basically what'll happen is we will be able to immediately enter into an IVF cycle and get right started into implantation. So, hypothetically, if things just keep moving quickly and James is able to schedule his blood draw real soon, we could essentially have a transfer at the end of July. That is super optimistic. I am not expecting that. Thinking realistically, it'll probably happen at the end of August is when I'm thinking, which is like kind of blowing my mind. Like all of a sudden this is like, oh, wow, okay, here we go. Let's do this. So yeah, that's it pretty much. It wasn't a big to-do, but it was a nice little trip and everything is done for my med clearance. So now all that's left is waiting. Just waiting. So if you guys have any questions, leave them below in the comments, or if you want to know more information about anything, let me know and I can make a video. I can make a video about my last surrogacy if you guys kind of want to hear how that went. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, just give it a thumbs up so that YouTube can keep recommending it to people, because I think it's really important for surrogacy to be talked about. I can make another video soon kind of about the emotions that go along with surrogacy and kind of how that feels as a surrogate. But yeah. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I do planner videos, mostly plan with me's, but I will start doing some more surrogacy videos if I start getting more people wanting that and requesting that. So thank you so much for watching today, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.